What is going on, everyone? My name is James Livingston here, back again here this morning, giving you guys a brief breakdown of the market, what to expect, what we can expect here in the next 2 days. Today is Thursday, August 29th. Yesterday evening, we did have NVIDIA earnings. I'm not entirely sure what the report itself said, but market essentially reacted negatively to it momentarily. This is essentially what we were kind of saying yesterday. My levels were not 100%, which they never are. No one's levels are going to be 100% to the T when it comes to that much volatility. Excuse me. But overall, we did pull back to this general range right here. It's hard to see on the daily because it doesn't actually show like those kinds of levels and stuff, which if I would have went in on the 4 hour, I probably could have gotten a more direct level, down here in the 115s. Which is essentially like right where that bounced last night. So overall, following it to a T there on NVIDIA, but obviously that brought market volatility to other stocks. SPY had a brief push to the downside there at after hours. Same thing with QQQ and most stocks. So this is all things that we kind of understood and we kind of knew was going to happen as far as the market would move along with NVIDIA. Let's clear off some of these drawings here. Essentially, though, what we can see is on the 4 hour here, we're starting to see that bounce off of the 60, already starting to reclaim that 20 MA here in pre-market. So nothing has really changed, just a momentary blip, if you will. Now, the one thing I will note is that NVIDIA's earnings were yesterday evening. Now, today, I believe we have the second revision of the GDP. GDP will most likely be market-moving data here this morning. Will give us some kind of volatility. You can see here yesterday we did push as low as 555. We kind of retested those lows, and then ultimately towards the end of the day got the push back up. And now we're starting to head right back up towards, you guessed it, all-time highs. So on SPY, if we're looking at just strictly levels here to watch out for, we could say that this pre-market high right now, about 560 psychological level, is the push to the upside. You could also say that the beginning of yesterday, about 561.30-ish, seems to also hold a little bit of weight. So either one of those would be good break levels in my opinion. I think 560 would take you to 561.30, and then at that point, it's kind of a matter of, do we break that high? If you want to be safe, wait for that 561.30 break. As far as for downside, we do have this little wick here at 558.70 that should give us the push towards this gap fill here. Now, like I've always said, gaps don't typically fill on the first test. So that first test there, if we do bring down to 557.90, could bounce almost immediately, or we do have, again, that gap down to the 554s. So we'll see which way the market wants to go here. I think it's really going to depend on GDP data. So a lot of these levels, by the time you guys see this video, the market could have decided if it was going up really hard or down really hard. Same thing with QQQ. Again, exterior-wise, daily-wise, if you will, the larger time frame, everything is still in line. We're still kind of in this pinching pattern. We had a brief wick out of this channel here. Just yesterday's price action melting down. But overall, as of right now, you can see even on the 4 hour time frame, we're starting to see some recovery here, starting to see some pushback up. 60 MA does need to get pushed a little bit harder, but then the 20 MA is right there. And again, I think once we get GDP data out, I think we're going to get some added volatility that will propel us either to the highs or back down to the lows. As far as levels here on the 15-minute, would definitely use that similar level on SPY there at about 473.60. It should line up pretty nicely with that 200 by the time we open up. That push there should give us a little bit more of a range to push out to about 475.5, which will put us at that downtrending trend line as well. Now, for the downside, there's definitely opportunity over here, obviously at the gap that we just created last night, right here. So 469.60 could be that bottom level. You could arguably take a short on this one, I think, at 471.30, 471.20. Somewhere in that range. I think if a break happens there, we'll at least get the push back down under 470 briefly. How long we'll stay under 470 is the real question there. But those are the levels on SPY and QQQ. Again, a lot of this is going to really depend on GDP. It's going to really depend on GDP data today, and then tomorrow we also have PCE data. So, a lot of variables to watch out for. Let me get rid of some of these drawings here on IWM. So IWM did have, that push to the upside here after we pushed down. Nice gradual buy back up. Now, one thing I'm noticing here is we have this kind of level of support kind of zone here from prior that we bounced off of. Push back down through it. Now we're above it again. If we can hold this area as a support, which lines up pretty nicely with this 20 EMA as well, there's a good chance that we'll continue up over the next coming days. 30-minute wise, I'm going to use a 30-minute here for IWM. No particular reason other than it just gives me a better look of the whole picture. I wouldn't use this high right here, this pre-market high here on IWM, just because it's so slim to the next level here, I think, to 219.19, 281.90 to 219.30, 40 cents. I'd rather you guys wait for that 219.30, 219.40 break in order to get the actual move to the upside that we're all looking for. So 219.40, I believe it was a level yesterday as well. That's still the level I'm really watching for upside. And then as far as downside, looking at this 217.90 or 218 just about. And then we have the gap that we just created from last night down. So that would be my area that I'm watching for downside. And then upside, there's a lot of upside potential if we can break that 219.40 level, in my opinion. Now, let's go over a couple of stocks here, because I know a lot of people are in ROKU or in this stock right here. Now, one thing I want to make very clear with ROKU is we just literally pushed over 12% in one single day. Actually, if you want to be really technical about it, from 61 in that morning on, I think so it would have been Monday morning? Was it Monday morning? The 23rd. I guess that would have been Friday morning. So on Friday morning, we had that push from $61 all the way up to almost $71. That is a huge move in a stock. It's like 15%. So to have a pullback day like we had yesterday, totally 100% normal. This is nothing groundbreaking or anything like that. This stock is still trending very healthily. I mean, yes, is it under the 30-minute 20? Is it under the 60? Yes. Is it over top of the 200 like it's been respecting for weeks? Yeah, it's still definitely respecting that. I have really no worries in the stock. I know in the Discord, in our community, we called out those 920 $75 calls and the 1018 $75 calls, which I still think are very much in play. I think, if anything, you have a much better entry down here. Did we think it would push up over 70.6? Of course. That was the level right there that we started to break, and then it got rejected toward the end of the day. Who was to know that the whole market was going to pull back yesterday? It's the luck of the draw. But all we can do on our end is manage our position. So with that being said, if you go on the 30-minute time frame, we do a Fibonacci retracement. Put it right there. What do we have here? Fibonacci retracement. We have a literal bounce so far. Not a full bounce. We're still bouncing, but in that golden zone. This is what I've mentioned before on the larger time frames, to look for this golden zone as a potential bounce zone. Now, we'll see here today. We'll know for sure today if that trend is going to be gone or not. But yesterday was too early to tell. I mean, again, we pushed up 15%. For us to pull back 4%, not that big of a deal in my opinion, especially after some nice healthy consolidation in a range. It was going to break up or down, one of the two, because of just this choppy movement we had right here. We broke down, so now we have to reassess it, see how strong are the sellers at the moment, or how strong are the buyers going to be. Again, with PCE and GDP data coming out here soon, if the buyers overall in the market start to push this thing up, or start to push the market up, there's a very good chance that ROKU is going to get pulled along with it. So we really can't tell until after today at 8:30 a.m. when the GDP data comes out, and then of course see how the market reacts today, and then PCE data on Friday. either which way, right now on Roku, we have time. September 20th, all this thing needs to do is get back to $70, and you'll be break even on your contracts. So for those of you that, you know, bought up here. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, all I can do is offer you guys ideas based on what I've seen in the market. I can't promise anything. I can't promise that, yes, we're going to go to 75. That's why we always tell everybody in our Discord to always take profits. You know, when you see green, take green. If you're happy with it, even if it's 10%, 5%, 3%, everyone's account size is relative, you know, to themselves. So I can't tell you where to take profits. You should be taking profits when you're happy. So if, for those of you that are in Roku, just know this is still following to the plan. We had a down day yesterday. The whole market had a down day. So it is what it is, unfortunately. But like I said, we're in that 50 to 60% golden zone here on the larger trend from the push, from the bottom of this push to the top. The retracement is right here. We are in that zone. If we start to break under 65.40, then, you know, it gets a little bit more worrisome. Then it looks like maybe a true trend shift, a true trend reversal. On the daily, still above the 200 EMA, which is bullish for me. We've never, not never, but we haven't been above this since February of this year. So if we can hold above it now, you know, definitely a big bullish signal for me. So we'll see what happens. But either which way, NVIDIA followed, like I said, to the T as far as what we were expecting it to do. You know, had that exact pullback almost to that zone that we had drawn. You know, it went slightly below that zone, but ultimately right now we're starting to show some signs of life. I still believe that NVIDIA is going to actually pop back up and probably go for highs still. It had a really nice earnings beat as far as I know with the earnings call. I don't know why the negative reaction, but it was going up for so long, it was almost expected that NVIDIA is not just going to keep going. It's going to need some kind of a cool off. And I think, unfortunately, this pull down here for earnings was kind of the nicest cool off it could have had. So that's my thoughts there on NVIDIA. You know, major level to get back above for NVIDIA here looks to be this 125.30. 125.30 seems to be where we kind of had trouble before breaking up towards 130, kind of based out on that level for a while. So now, since we're underneath of it, it should turn into a resistance. If we want to keep going up, we need to break through that resistance, and it should propel us higher. So that's my thoughts for today, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, please drop a like, comment down below, let me know what you guys are thinking. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. And of course, if you don't have a community to be a part of, Alpha Stocks Lab, click the link in the description. Let's get a nice big community going. I know a lot of you guys, you know, who do watch my videos are already in the Discord. Hopefully some of you guys that are new coming in here can see the value in what we give out. And there's plenty of other people just like myself in there that can help out and trade different instruments, you know, whether it be penny stocks, you know, low floaters, shorting, you name it, we've got some people for it. So either which way, guys, have a good rest of your day, have a good Thursday, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.